Wild dog attacks cost Queensland's livestock industry nearly $70 million a year. But one wool grower is bringing hope to the sheep industry with the aid of an unlikely saviour. From Queensland's Southern Downs, Kieran McKechnie reports.
On Bruce McLeish's sheep property at Carrara outside Warwick, shearing is in full swing. Like any wool grower, he's at the mercy of volatile international wool prices and the dry weather conditions that plague the Southern Downs. But his number one problem is wild dogs, literally savaging his business.
I actually had a case here where prior to shearing, I lost 200 full wool sheep, and then in the preceding 6-8 weeks after, I lost another 200 shorn, so that year we actually lost 400 sheep.
Bruce McLeish says over the past 3 or 4 years, the wild dog problem in these parts has soared.
The density of wild dogs closer in country, which I call sort of in the ranges, national parks, forestries, places like that, the density of the wild dogs has got to the point now where they're getting pushed out and they've got to go further to search for food. And obviously in those areas there's been not enough done to suppress the numbers, and they've just got to a point where it's exploded. And you know, I've got friends or neighbours in the area here that have never had a wild dog in their place, and they're just losing hundreds of sheep at the moment.
One of those neighbours is Jonathan Carsons.
They started January last year. We bought a mob of lambs, and within 2 weeks we bought 240 lambs, and in 2 weeks they'd taken 40 lambs out of that particular mob. We're lucky I had to move them out of the paddock, and 2 weeks later we were able to trap that dog, but ever since then they've been hitting us with a vengeance.
In the last 18 months he's lost about 900 sheep to brutal wild dog attacks. That equates to a loss of more than $70,000.
I don't think we can go on doing this for, the losses we're sustaining at the moment. To replace those sheep, $80 plus to get them onto your property, and then you've got to wait another 12 months before you get any income from them. Why do it?
Many of his neighbours have decided there's just no viable answer and have moved out of sheep altogether. But that just makes Jonathan Carson's flock all the more susceptible to attack. The financial and emotional blows every time he comes across mauled sheep in his paddocks is clearly taking its toll.
Black dog sort of starts to get at you a little bit, and you never know when he's going to bite you.
It's very confronting when anyone goes out and find where dogs have been in either their sheep or their cattle. It's a huge emotional thing. That you've got the worst animal welfare impacts I've ever seen. A wild dog attacks on sheep. It's just they rip and tear and then they leave them to die.
Brent Finlay is talking from experience. AgForce's sheep and wool president regularly loses stock on his Warwick property.
My area where my property is and my near neighbours, I think in the last sort of 18 months we're talking about $150,000 worth of damage.
He says last year AgForce commissioned a study on the economic impact of dog attacks on Queensland's livestock industry. The results were staggering. Wild dogs ripped $67 million out of the industry.
Farmers can consistently go out and find up to 10 sheep dead, maybe even more, in a single day, from where dogs or a number of dogs have got into them, and that's happening every day.
Wild dog is still one of the only animals with sharks and a few others that actually does not kill their prey before they feed on it. So they're a very cruel animal. They will eat a sheep alive. And, to find that after you've nurtured the sheep right through, well, these are shorn now, but to the point where they're full wool, you've drenched them, you've crutched them, you've fed them through droughts, and then to have them eaten alive, well, then they're still alive when you find them and they've had all their, back end chewed out. It's pretty sad.
At wit's end, Bruce McLeish started looking around for solutions.
And I heard of a story in near Toowoomba where a lady had a donkey just as a pet running with her free-range chooks, and she went out in the morning and there was a fox that had been stomped to death with her free-range chooks. And I thought that's strange. I've never heard of anything like that. And I got on the internet, and actually over in Canada they use guard donkeys a lot for fat lambs and cattle to stop coyotes and wolves.
Graziers have long trialled unusual guard animals to protect their flocks, from Maremma dogs to alpacas. So Bruce McLeish thought he'd give donkeys a go, and he says the results have been extraordinary.
Donkeys will actually live with the sheep, they'll feed with them and camp with them, and when a dog turns up they will actually go out of the mob of sheep and they will chase them, they will try and stomp them and bite them. when they get a smell of a dog, a donkey's a very alert animal, very inquisitive, and when they get a whiff or of the dog coming, they will actually start doing the old Eeyore, and we'll be at night here on a still night, and you'll actually hear the donkeys out there, calling. But their aggressiveness is that they're very fast at stomping, and they'll try and bite, and they will just chase and chase.
With dog numbers exploding in this region, graziers like Bruce McLeish swear by donkeys over other forms of guard animals such as alpacas, because donkeys are more successful in fending off dogs that hunt in packs. He's already seen a dramatic drop in the number of his sheep killed.
A donkey won't eradicate a wild dog, but it might save, if a dog does come in, we might only lose one out of that paddock instead of 10 or 12 in one hit.
Donkeys are not the only answer to a problem that's plaguing farmers to the point of desperation and depression, but they are proving to be an effective weapon in the war against wild dogs. Kieran McKechnie, Lateline.